We have three types of market participants, which means what are the players in the market who buys and trades derivatives. The first type is called hedgers. So what do we mean by hedgers? It means that, let's assume that, do you remember our example that you have a jewelry shop? What is your raw material? Your raw material is gold. You are afraid that the increase in the price of gold in the future will affect your profit negatively. Therefore, what do you have? You have an existing risk level. Therefore, what will be your major target? Why do you enter into derivatives? Because you would like to minimize your level of risk by transferring risk to another party. Therefore, the major objective of hedgers is to minimize or eliminate risk by transferring this risk to another party. And this is the major motive why hedgers enter the market, the derivatives market. Therefore, for hedgers, from its name, what do you mean by hedge? Hedge, it means that minimize or eliminate risk. So this means that you have a risk level and you would like to minimize it. The second type is speculators. So what do you mean by speculators? So speculators, they don't have a risk level. Let's assume that you are a finance student, you understand finance pretty well, you can predict the market with a high degree of accuracy. So you see that there is a tension between the Gulf and Iran nowadays. There might be a war. You know that if there would be a war between the Gulf and Iran, what will happen? Oil prices will increase. Therefore, you could buy oil in a future or forwards or any derivative contract in the future, because you know that in the future the price will increase, so you can sell it and make a high profit out of this. But I will ask you, do you actually need oil? Like, do you have a factory and do you use this oil? You'll say no. So this means that you don't have any risk position, you don't have any level of risk, but the only reason you enter the market is you are willing to take higher risk in order to make higher expected return. And that's what do you mean by speculators. They don't already have a risk, they don't need the product, but they enter the market in order to make higher profit, but consequently they take higher level of risk. The last type is called arbitrager. And what do you mean by arbitrager? Arbitrager, it means that the market is in disequilibrium. What do you mean by disequilibrium? Let's assume that we have here Sydney and we have Melbourne. The price of a laptop in Sydney is $1,000. For the same laptop with the same features in Melbourne is $900. Therefore, is the market in equilibrium? Definitely not, because based on the law of one price, products with the same features must be traded at the same price at different markets. Consequently, you will discover that here that the market is at disequilibrium. So this means that you can enter the market now to benefit from disequilibrium and make profit. So what you will do is you will buy laptops from Melbourne and you will sell it in Sydney in order to make profit. Consequently, when you buy from Melbourne, higher demand would result in a higher price. In Sydney, people don't buy much, therefore the price will decrease until the price in Sydney and Melbourne will be equal. Consequently, arbitragers, they don't take risk, but they benefit from market disequilibrium. So, do they need the product? No, they don't need the product, but they enter the market to make profit. Therefore, we could say that hedgers and arbitragers, they have some features. What are these features? Hedgers would like to eliminate risk or reduce risk. Arbitragers, they don't take risk. There is some features between speculators and arbitragers. Speculators, they don't need the product, but they enter the market to make profit. But arbitragers, they don't also need the product, they enter the market to make the profit. But the only difference between speculators and arbitragers is speculators, they take higher risk to make higher return, but arbitragers, they don't take higher risk. They benefit from market disequilibrium, and that's why they enter the market only when there is arbitrage profit, which means the market is not at equilibrium.